are going live. Welcome again to episode 21 of TableBreakers. This is the lost episode where we had plans to do something special tonight, but a goblin came in, and a gremlin came in, and then a kobold came in, and a kinder came in, and nobody can find the notes we had for tonight's episode. So you, our friends, are going to get a special bonus. Tonight is the lost episode, and you will be here to witness it. For those of you watching the replay, this is a drinking stream. You have been warned. How's
Have
it
your drinks
going,
at the ready. This might get wild.
Someone took all our stuff. We're lost.
Oh, I have notes somewhere.
Well, I gave Garrett my notes, but he's not here.
I know. And my
And I'm sticking to that story.
My story, and I'm sticking to it. That's a bad country song if I ever heard one.
So,
my last notes I had were I was Cthulhu on a train, so that's all I've got.
Well, last time we discussed cults, religion,
and organizations.
yes, and organizations. I think we were leading up to
Prostitution.
how to run evil games. I think that's a topic on our list somewhere. I'm not sure where. Yeah,
I mean, we kind of left off with, last week's episode of joking around about prostitutes and hookers.
well, I mean that's every episode, so you're gonna have to be a little more specific.
Yeah, but we didn't bring up blow or blackjack. Without blow and blackjack, I'm out of here.
All proceeds from this stream go straight to the orphanage from which I was raised.
Because of blackjack and blow.
Okay, well, I have an idea. So, how do you like to start your games? Or have you already covered that? Like, do you start in a tavern? Do you start, with people looking at billboards? Like, where's a good place to start a game?
I really prefer starting at like the players are already on a guard caravan, and I'll run like a random encounter where they run across bandits and they have to fight, survive, and protect the people they're with. And they have to survive. That's important. And then once that combat's over, I rewind time about 2 months. And the players were being trained by an old lieutenant from like a naval shipyard who he's now working for a mercenary company that provides security and safety on these Union passages. And so he ferrets out a bunch of young kids that have the ability to shoot a crossbow or use a broadaxe. And I introduce the players and I have them roll all their stats there before we start that random encounter. We have the characters finished. But before that combat, I'm making mental notes. And I'll be doing things in that random encounter. Like, I'll say something like, the months that you spent training, you can feel the delivery of it with the killing blow. Or you would normally think about running right now, but there's something inside you that thinks you can take this. And I'm saying things like that. And then I'll rewind time about 2 months and I give them this kind of montage for about 10 minutes as they are shoved all the information of where they're from, how they met, how long they've known each other, what shitty little settlement they're all from. And then after I've done that and let them know that you are not strangers, you all know each other. You guys have probably spent years together because you're in the same small community of 100, 150 people. You all know who you guys grew up with and who you had a crush on, which older sister everybody thought about. And then, you guys remember like this one bar burning down one night about 2 years ago, and you were first conscripted to haul buckets. And as I'm doing that, I'm just giving them information. And then you went through boot camp. And while the combat was going on at the start of the combat, I was adjusting the numbers a little bit to reflect your 13 minimum strength that you all have, because Boot camp will force you to have a 13 strength. You will have a medium ruck, and you will learn how to go with it and breathe normally and not be winded. Welcome to being able to carry your weight. And people will just kind of sit there and be like, this is kind of intense. No, it's really not. Because this is the first thing you've had happen in about 8 days of travel. And that's just how I started. And then after I go through the montage and let all the players discuss things and like get over the butthurt of, I wanted to be a cloistered wizard. I wanted to learn how to craft and never be in danger. I wanted to roll rich parents. Oh, you did? Did you roll that on your background generator? No, you didn't. It said from a forest community. Sorry, kid. So, all right, you make it to your destination and your paymaster gives you some silvers. Listen, I don't want you guys to get crazy, but I do want you to be able to eat and enjoy yourself and damage your liver appropriately. We leave tomorrow at 9 in the morning. This town has bells. You should be able to count. I'll talk to you later. And that's it. And that's how I start my game. That's how I prefer to start them.
Okay. What about you, Kai? How do you like to start your games?
Ooh. Much more similar to what that is, but a little different. Where I kind of go with the mentality that, well, the first thing I end up usually doing is force everybody to sit at the damn table and go, look, all of you need to have at least one connection to one other person at this table. I don't care what you did. I don't care. Hi there.
Hello.
But it's one of those things where it's like, look, there's 6 of you. Pair off, find some reason you know that guy or somebody in this room. But can we all be linked? Yes. And then suddenly, so there's none of this. So there's 5 people who know each other and that one guy who's an asshole over there in the corner. And at which point the rest of the party goes, okay, so we 5 go off on an adventure and you don't get to join. Why? We don't know you. And from there, it's like, well, I give them a little bit of a prep and go, hey, where do you plan? What do you like? This is going to be what it's going to be. What are we doing? Exploration, continent. You're going to the Dark Continent. Okay, that's all you got to know. Build a party. Or you're a group of lawbringers. Build a party about that. And they go, okay. And then they assemble a group that's about being law enforcement. Now, do they hold up to that? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know, but that's up to them. But their initial goal is like, okay, so what are we? Bodyguards for Marine detachment. Okay, so we're build a party. I don't care what you do, just do it. Make sure you get contact text, and then you're going to get beaten up by something because it's the first adventure. You're going to get beaten up because I don't really do this whole. Well, we all meet up in a tavern. Cool, that works for Dragonlance. That works for Forgotten Realms. But no, we're skipping that part. You're already got a job. You're going. But you're all you're all level 1 people. You've all gone through pretty much basic. You've got your idea of what your class is. You all should be not idiots off the farm. Sorry, you're not. You're all professionals. You were all hired. Go do your job. Somebody looked at you and went, "You're not trash," and hired you. Unless everybody goes, "We just want to be a bunch of farmers being farmers." Wow. I'm going to burn your village down, right? We expect that. No wizards. What? You're farmers. You have a druid in the party, but no wizards. Can I have you a sorcerer? You can be a sorcerer. Why? Because, mom and daddy fucked a dragon once. And now you got magic. Cool. But it's going to be one of those things where the first event, dropping them into it's going to be, you already got your job. You already got your first mission. From there, you're on your own. but you've got a plan. You got a job. There is no. We go to the job board. What's available? No. Unless you're in a major city, they don't have a newspaper that has a help wanted board. Because I'm sorry, you don't need to have someone go, I need someone to help me find my ass. And I need 5 strong people who can find my ass for me because my ass got lost. What? Okay, no. Good luck. Bye. Move along.
Okay. Connell, how do you start your games?
Really depends on when I'm homebrewing or if I'm doing a module. And like if I'm doing a module, it's basically I will act like, in Rise of Runelord, the first like 5 minutes of the freaking campaign, the small village, seaport town gets attacked by a tribe of goblins, right? So your 4 players are one of the few of the 4 players that seem to know what the hell they're doing. The mayor or the sheriff, mainly the sheriff, gather them up. It's like, hey, I know you're just passing through, but can I offer you some work while you're here? And go forth on that one. If I'm doing a homebrew, it just really depends on the situation. If I'm doing a Harry Dresden one, depends on what everybody's playing. If I got like 3 of the 5 guys playing in cops, aka fire martial class, I just I'm like, you guys are called into a murder scene. They already know each other by the job, or I don't care, I want to be this. I don't care if you're a special butterfly. If you're a police officer, you know who the other people are in your houses. Therefore, you guys know each other at least by reputation. And it's always a case-by-case scenario. I agree. I mean, there was a time where I loved the old billboard. On the billboard says, help wanted, princess is missing, need extra money, wife has gone missing. Wait, she's not gone missing. I just don't care. Whatever. But I think it's very much scenario and how I like to start the game.
Okay. I mean, I think those are all really great and valid starting points. And you're right, it does kind of depend on the game that you're running. If the game you're running is kind of a monster of the week kind of game, having everybody, come into scene, standing in front of the billboard, just kind of like glossing over is like, well, what should we pick? Should we pick that? Should we pick that? And you give the PCs like 5 or 6 options for the monster of the week. I've also seen it where it's a kidda type moment where kidda means kick in the ass, where you get the ball rolling with a opening scene, such as I'm going to go to Paizo's Wrath of the Righteous. You start, or all the players start, and they've got their characters. They kind of briefly explain themselves, at the table, or they think they do. Then you start reading, and it's like, hey, you're all at the festival, and just as the opening speech begins, you hear a crack and this world-shattering boom as you begin to fall and feel weightlessness. And the next moment, you realize you're waking up in the dark, and you can't see anything. So that's a method of starting that I kind of like that one. I've also liked the one that Kai referenced, where the PCs are starting out and they know each other because they're all from the same village, and then I'm going to burn the village down because that's how you get them moving towards a goal. Speaking of goals, what are some early opener goals that you have for your PCs? Like, the first job or the first few jobs, just to get their feet wet. And I'm mostly asking these questions for especially new GMs who don't know where to start and don't know how to keep the ball moving. So what is like some good opener jobs that you would start off a new group of players with?
Well, I would really stay out of dungeons at least until 3rd level if I could, because I think it's important to have the players get to know the lay of the land and the map that you're having them roam around, and they should know like various people because while your character might be first or second level, which is a pretty considerable person when you compare yourself to a normal innkeeper, shopkeeper type, or somebody who has like a business inside of town where they don't have to deal with violence to achieve their ends. Um, Most adventuring character types have to achieve some level of violence in order to get it going, and that's the difference between, you wanting to have a life with unlimited capitalism versus somebody else who's like, oh, my dad was a shopkeeper. I'll be a shopkeeper too. And they're going to know riches, but not true wealth. And there's Robert Kiyosaki lesson in there somewhere, but I can't figure that out if it's employee based or not. Anyway, your characters being second or first level, you are still better trained and better equipped than most common people in your community. If your entire community was first and second level commoners and peasants, there'd really be no need for you to be there because they already have enough things to fix whatever's going wrong. They've got experts that are fifth level, they've got people that can do stuff. But most games are ran under the assumption that the commoners are first or second level at best at their apex, and you're starting out at age 16 and you're second level. Bam! So I think if you get to like third level with me, I want you to be able to look at the map for the game world and be like, I've been here, here's the things that happened to us along the way. Here's what happened over in this location. Over here we found a blah 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 blah. And you know where you have been. You know where you have tread. And that's how I perceive it. Maybe I'm completely wrong because I've got a player in our panel from my game, and I don't know if he pays good attention or notes or takes good notes, but I just want the players to have enough oomph in them to where they don't touch a dungeon until about third level. They really don't. If they touch a dungeon, it's like a orc and pie dungeon. Nothing too extreme. Nothing like, we're going into a Daggerfall dungeon. Oh, fuck you. No. And I also run training and training time. So players like, yeah, you just went into a 5-room dungeon and killed like 2 ogres and a troll. You're going to go back to town for about a week and a half and get better with this sword, and we'll talk to you later. Oh, you owe us about 2,000 gold for your efforts. Thank you so much. And Fister's right. A PC fighter could easily be a castle guard, and the castle guards don't all have to be fighters or warriors. You could have thieves, and you could have the clerics. Anybody that actually has to wear a set of armor could conceivably be on the budget for guard duty, because you would have a role for a cleric. Oh, we have a healer with us? Oh, fuck, this must be a high value post. This must be a dangerous spot. We got a paladin here? Oh god, we are the spur point, aren't we? Oh man. I know how the brass will treat this. And they will think like that. But you would have a mage that would still be on retainer from the castle, and you better not cast that lone sleep spell today until we have a threat to the castle, and then you unleash hell, and then you have to go to sleep for 8 hours. But you unleash, but you do that, and you have these games where you don't force the players into a world where like dismemberment is feasible. It could happen. You could trip over your dick, roll 2 natural ones on your swing, and easily plant yourself for 6d6 damage from that longsword you carry, or that 2-handed claymore. You could do that, but I would rather escalate things on a very slow scale, and I don't want the players to get overwhelmed when I'm having them at low level. I I have training wheels on them up to about level 3. After level 3, the training wheels come off. You get to see like an ogre rape a mustard or a moss ooze or jelly in a farmhouse somewhere. You have the worst things happen. Yeah, thanks, Connell. Thanks. I'm looking at the adventure right now. But you have those horrible things happen after level 3 when they've already, "Oh, I'm no longer a rookie. Oh, cool. I'm going to fuck with you hard now." And you run the Dresden experience where they enter the room and there's the 2 dead characters where their hearts are blown out by sex magic. You could do such a thing. Yeah, everybody's like, "Yay!" No.
Talk about blowing your load.
That's such a good book, though. Anyway, moving on Connell, what do you normally set as your first few adventures? Kai, I see it brewing.
I
We'll get to you in a moment.
kill one of the players. Outrightly kill one of the players. Because I've been in several campaigns where people have gotten emotionally attached to their characters. So when that character dies, that person quits the game. Quite literally packs up their shit and goes home and doesn't come back next Thursday.
You know what we call that? Extra share for everyone else.
Right. So I want them to understand death does happen. Yes, this is a fantasy RPG, but death is still a part of the game. So, but I don't go out of my way like, wow, you found a magical box, a puzzle box out in the forest. You start moving together. Next thing you know, you get chains and guys in weird leather pieces. Yeah, no, I don't do that. That's only for Bruce's campaign. But no, it's like the caravans. They're trying to make it from the port to wherever are getting attacked by gobos, owlbears, something in the woods, something natural. I'm not saying goblins are natural, but they kind of are. Something you just find in the woods. So, the rogue who thinks that he's the hot shot because he can do his stealth, but he only rolls a 5 instead of a 12, and he thinks he's hidden. He gets stabbed by a goblin or stepped on by a owlbear, something of that nature. And when that character dies, it's a learning lesson for everybody else. And I sound like a dick, but that's okay. But no, I need new time DMs to understand it's okay for your character or one of your players to die. Don't wipe out the entire party, but death does happen in the campaign. And I like to have that be a learning block within the first 3 or 4 levels. Because after 5th level, people actually, I get not emotionally attached, but I get attached to my character. Ooh, after 5th level, I'm going to go do this class and take that feat and do this and this and this. Congratulations, your character died. What are you going to do now? Well, fuck. I want that. That's what I'm looking for New Times players. So that's kind of how I like to start my game. The first, very outside of the gate, what that looks like.
Okay.
I guess, Kai, you're up next.
Yeah, Kai, take it away.
I have gone to the rate. Depends on my players when they sit down at the table and they start talking about what they want to do. If they are just like, I don't know what to do, I'll just be like, your boat sinks. Congratulations, survive. And they'll be like, what? I'm like, are any of you? Congratulations, new continent. Good luck. But wait, you're shipwreck victims. Good luck. Or one of my favorite ones I've had, we're brand new adventurers. We're going to go out and adventure. And we walk off the boat and somebody gets shot right in front of you. Wait, what? Yeah, crossbow bolt right to the forehead. The corpse falls in the water. Are they dead? I don't know. Are you going to go save them? Yes. Good. Start moving. Or if they're those wonderful new, and since I get to deal with a lot of new players a lot, I love watching those players who come in and they're just like, I'm ready to play me some fantasy adventure gaming, and I know it from all the video games that I'm going to go and build my awesome character, and I'm going to go have fun. And I'm like, ooh. Have you also named your sword, and you're so proud that you spent all your starter money on some cool gear? Yeah, my sword's amazing. And I'm like, oh yeah. What do you want to? What are you planning on doing? I'm gonna go earn me a name and go fighting. I'm like, okay. And then you just give them a nice simple job, and they go out there, and it's like, and now you get to realize that the dice don't agree with what you came up with. What do you mean? The dice always betray you. Why haven't you realized that? Why most of us have a box or a bag of betrayer dice, and we just lock dice away through the session and be like, these have betrayed me. And they're like, but you're in the middle of an adventure, and now everyone kills you. Wait, what? Am I dying? Yes, you're dying. This sucks. I know. And you just kind of go with that. And it's always fun watching those wonderful, bright, optimistic players who are so full of it get murdered in some cave somewhere or get eaten by rats. And you're just sitting here going, so what did you learn? Don't go running in? Yep. Check for traps? Yep. Bring sufficient light sources, scout ahead, and look for hidden passages? Yep. So is that why you were eaten by all the goblins? Yep. All right. I think you've learned. Good job. Don't be so. But my character was like killed almost 4 times. I know. The party wasted all of their potions and all their healing spells, and they're all exhausted to keep you alive. Have you learned anything? No. Okay, everybody. Next adventure, he dies again. And this time we're not bringing him back. Right. Because everyone's going to sit there and be like, I'm going to kill, like we're not going to help him anymore. And yes, the great comment of, so what do you do? And then you have fun watching them all squirm. And but like I said, I don't like that. Yes, that, how do you get them started? And that, but you just got to hit them out of the nowhere and just be like, and most players are just like, if you got new guys, are just like, I have no idea. And they just come in with video game logic, and it's like, tabletop's not the video game, my friend. You're about to get killed horribly. By what? Your AC isn't that high. The attack value is still high. Your hit points aren't high. Those rats will kill you in 3 turns. Wait, what?
Rats to get killed by what? Everything.
The cat, the rats, the goblins. There's an orc over there. Ooh, that's an orc. He's got as much hit points as you do. He hits as hard as you do, if not harder. But we're adventurers. You're about to die horribly. If you've ever seen Goblin Slayer, the abridged series, just think of the DM. You are the guild person going, I'm trying to prevent you from dying. But we want an adventure. No, you're not ready for an adventure. But we want one. Go kill some goblins. And if you survive, yeah, adventure. And then you just like watch them die. And you just go, eventually you learn. And then like the 1 or 2 veteran players who have made it from a previous semester or a previous campaign, or the players who've been around for 5-6 years go, oh no, are we gonna save them? No, let them go. Why? They have to learn.
Mistakes must be made.
Mistakes must be dead. And I've warned new players to come in going, old players are like, but you're running. I want to play. Yes, but your job is to stand back in the back and do absolutely nothing. But they're going to make mistakes. And I punished you too in those previous years. You learned by dying or being almost dead many a times. What? And if you help them, they're not learning. So kill them. Let them die. It'll be worth it. And you just watch them bleed out on the floor. and then you just walk over there and go, "Did you learn anything?" "Yes." Band-Aid. "Did you learn anything?" "No." "Well, you got at least 2 more levels of death before you're dead, so keep bleeding." "Ah!" "You learned anything?" "Yes." Band-Aid. And that's how you move all your life.
Okay, but
Well, we now know from the 4 of us, 2 of us are dicks, starting with me.
what's your first, like, what kind of adventures do you give to like new players? Like, what is the first adventure?
The first adventure literally is I shot the guy who's come up to go, "Hi, welcome to town. I'm here to hire you. Like, I hired you to go do this job, and you shot him I shot him in the forehead, and he falls in the water." Your first adventure is literally figure out who the hell shot the guy who, like,
Okay.
like it literally is a bunch of gangsters, bandits, and/or cultists shot the guy who hired you in the head,
Okay.
and deal with it.
I must have missed that part. Okay. Yeah, no. So that's actually the way one of the very first Starfinder modules starts out. When Paizo published Starfinder, the first adventure path that they put out was called Dead Suns, and that's exactly the way it starts. The guy you're supposed to meet, this isn't really spoiler territory. This is literally the first paragraph. The guy you're supposed to meet in the launch bay is waving to you, and then suddenly he takes a laser bolt through the skull. Like, that is the start of Paizo's Dead Suns campaign, and it's a little bit of mystery, a little bit of investigation, a lot of what the fuck do we do now? So, and to alleviate some of that WTF, I think every group needs mentors. And this is actually kind of a part and parcel to the hero's journey. If you don't know what the hero's journey is, the hero's journey is detailed out in actually a pretty good book called The Hero with 1,000 Faces. It's a bit of a dry read for some, but it kind of goes over how we as a society and how we as a people over the course of our literal world tell stories. We tell these grand epics of these great heroes of the past, but they all start somewhere, and it's the call to adventure, and then leaving the known realm, typically with a mentor, and then everything eventually comes full circle. So speaking on mentors, because we've already talked about a little bit of call to the adventure, what do you use as a good mentor to get people moving in the direction that the story needs to go, or that they should be going, to kind of get them into the mindset and immersed into the game itself?
I really appreciate having the players go through a session or two, and you'll see the lazy ones will rely on their mentors to do the things, to attack the goblins, to cast fireball and stop the bandits from attacking us. Oh dear God. And I love having a Ricky Schroeder moment where you kill their mentor in front of them. Like, oh my God, Galarian has just died. Or Gorion has just died. Oh no. And you're stuck out there in the middle of the rain, and you're realizing that you're not going to be a comfortable 19-year-old kid in the middle of the Forgotten Realms, not too far off from Candlekeep. And then you meet your little friend that you've had all through growing up, that little hot thief type girl, and she's like, let me help you out. Let's go back and grab all of his stuff, and let's get you going. And I love having that moment where the players got used to the mentor for a couple sessions, and he was doing all the things. He was showing them what to do, but he was also a man of action. And I like doing that. And then once they start to lean on that crutch and put their weight on it, I just love to take it away. Hey, Fiscoso, take care of yourself, buddy.
That's
Hey, Indigo Dragon. Go ahead.
that's really, I mean that's a really good point. Players really do get attached to the mentors, and they lean real hard into them for the first however long. But you do, as a GM, have to take them away eventually to get the players to realize that they are more than their mentor, that they
Or
are the
you,
next
you
generation to go forward.
or you
So,
have a situation where their mentor is actually the evil archmage behind the merchant guild activity that's ruining this little province. And
betrayer
the entire
mentor.
time, the mentor was invested in building a retainer base, a bodyguard wall, so nobody could get to him. And here you are, mentally and morally conflicted. What do you do?
The betrayer move. I like it.
Bruce, you must really be from Illinois. I was just thinking the last few governors.
Hey, not
You
the
had
last.
4 of them in prison at once.
Well, the last one didn't go to prison though. No, he
There's still
didn't.
time.
Ronner didn't go to prison at all.
No.
Anyway.
he didn't.
So, Kai, what do you do for mentors? Do you use them? Do you like them?
Oh, I love them. It's honestly why I love my generational games so much, is because you can pull in the mentor being a former hero, a former character, someone the players can go, I remember that guy. I used to play that character, and they're going to help us. And then you just bring them in, and you're like, wow. And usually you can play up player overconfidence because, that mentor's done what I had. They could go off and do the impossible, give me good advice, help me along. And you're like, yeah, but they do have their own agendas, their own personalities, and you can actually set up a wonderful moment where that former player, especially if they're actually, so that former character, especially if that player is actually sitting at your table and going, yeah, I know everything that character can do. And I'm like, yeah, I know too, because, I ran that previous campaign, too. And play up that overconfidence, and every once in a while going, so what would your character do? And then get them into a horrible situation where it's like, I have, engineering a trap where it's like, where it's all about luring in all these former heroes, and the players are like, we're in their vanguard and we're going to help them and cheer them and support them. And then literally set up a situation where everyone's going to die at this point, and have that point of going, so players, which one's more important, your old characters or your current characters? And the old generation, who's probably now, because it's been 30 years since their prime, are kind of going, we're old, we're decrepit, even with we're past our prime. Hey, new heroes, you start escaping, take whatever you can, run. Shouldn't we help you? No, we're going to buy time. And then you murder you literally just kill them, especially if they have more heroes, to have that hero come, some other old hero mentor come running in to come save the party, buy them, and then have them get ganked because nat 20s suck. I had high velocity ballistic bolts to the chest, called the second chest wounds, are kind of nature's way of telling you to slow the fuck down and die, and let the party just kind of watch all of their old characters get murdered, while they have to go out there and figure out how to be the new generation of heroes. Because after all, nobody wants their old character to die from old age, quiet in a bed. No, let them die doing really cool things like buying the party. We need time to figure out a solution to this, and have that have some old some old PC who's like two, 3 generations removed from now old decrepit, give an impassioned speech about how, hey, we should trust the players, and have them have an aneurysm and die of just die of brain hemorrhaging while giving a speech, and to give it and go, players, this is your last chance. Do the right thing. Do the heroic thing. Why? Because you're old. Because so and so's old character died of a brain aneurysm and of a stroke. giving a speech to buy you time to be heroes. Be heroes. Okay. It's like, have no fear of murdering their like make them love their mentors and then murder them. And it's great. And it actually is a great motivator because, wow, you're watching someone that someone spent years, especially if you kind of work it out ahead of time, going, hey, I'm going to kill your character. Is that okay? Yeah. How are you going to kill me? That's a surprise. But I'm going to kill you. Okay. And now they're in on it. And you're right. Nobody wants to die of dysentery. But especially if you got like multiple players who are like, we love this character. This is the hero of the previous war, and then have them die doing something heroic. I love my mentors because it hooks you in for when the death is actually going to happen and makes them go, oh shit, even heroes can die. Yes, even legends can die. Now go.
Yes, the original Star Wars trilogy is actually a masterpiece of the hero's journey in cinema. Continuing along with mentors, yeah. Cigar GM, have you used mentors? And if you have, what do you think about them? And do you kill them like this guy up here does?
For the last several times I've just ran modules, but the few times I've got to do homebrew, especially if I'm doing a variation of the Dresden Files, I'll use Dresden himself as the mentor. I'll have the Chicago Black Cat squad be the main heroes of the story, where Dresden pops in. Dresden's there, but he's not the main part of the story. I just like do Stormfront, or instead of Harry Dresden stopping the evil warlock at the end, it is the Black Cat, the police officers.
Okay.
And I'll use Dresden as their information. I'll have him show up and help him in a few battles, but he is the guy in the back.
He's got bigger fish to fry.
Right. Yeah. He's the one taking care of, bigger fish while they're dealing with everything in between. And that's how if I do it, that's how I normally run the Dresden Files.
Okay. Cool. I've used mentors in almost every game to date, every homebrew game that is. I did a little bit with some of the modules as well. I've had to add my own mentors in because the players were, let's just put it bluntly, they were fuck ups. I mean, bluntly speaking. And that is really not a slight against them. It's more of a, hey, you're new players. I understand you're struggling. Here's this person to kind of help and teach you the ropes. And that's what a mentor is supposed to do. Now, I don't always kill the mentor. Sometimes I go, the mentor's like, hey, I've taught you these things. You have all the tools you need. Go forth and, go forth and be the heroes. I'm going to sit back and relax, sip my tea on my porch because I'm retired. The mentor might be in their 40s, 50s, if they're human, or they might be in their 400s or 500s if they're an elf. And that's, they're like, I'm not going to go out there and adventure anymore because I'm way past my prime. I will die if I go out there. I don't want to die. Nobody wants to die. Most people want to try to live forever, or find some way of living very long, comfortable lives. So the mentor, isn't necessarily going to go sacrifice themselves for these piss-ons. And I mean, I'm keeping things kind of blunt here. But it's kind of true, if the mentor is like, what, you guys have been failing at every turn. I'm just going to let you go. And if you all die, well, I'll teach the next batch. And those are for the moments where I'm like, all right, you know what? The campaign's gone so far off the rails and people just want to be absolute murder hobos. To hell with it. Let them die. So I've kind of used mentors as both mostly a teaching method and mostly a, hey, you guys really need to go in a this way direction for, the sake of continued play. So we've talked about mentors. We've talked about where the call to adventure is, how to start a game, the first few adventures. Let's delve a little further along the path of the hero's journey.
Hold on. I want to
go ahead.
discuss the levels, the lower levels especially.
Okay.
I think you need to spend some serious time in the lower levels because
Yes.
you need to recognize players and dungeon master alike that people have limits, and nowhere is that more recognized in the first 5 levels of like a typical D&D, no matter what edition game it is. If the DM is doing it right, keeping them poor, keeping them struggling, and then giving them the occasional boost to their financial output, I think it does a good thing for the players to recognize that in this campaign world, you are a little different than everybody else, because nobody really wants to trot along for 4 miles an hour on the back of this smelly donkey with a wagon. You're there doing it, and you've seen a lot of sunsets and a lot of rainy days from this position. You've helped get your donkey unstuck out of the mud. I'm going to focus on a. I apologize about my bong in the background. I know some of you don't believe that. It's actually a coffee maker because I just shared my coffee link. But there's a really good module for Harn. And let me find it. Silver Way. All right.
I have to say, I love the sound of the old-fashioned coffee makers. I don't know. I don't know if it's something from my childhood, but there's just something to it.
You mean percolators?
Yeah, the old percolator, especially if you're camping,
I wish this was a percolator. All right. This is a Silver Way. It's like an $8 supplement off of ColumbiaGames.com. Since before the first men came to Harn, the Silver Way has been the only road into Azadmir, the ancient and wealthy kingdom of the Khaz'dul. It is one of the 4 major trade routes that converge on Tashal and one of the most important trade routes on Harn. It's also one of the most dangerous. That's the opening paragraph. It gives you a distance of 56 leagues, 8 days on foot, 6 days, wagons impassable for typical work. Altitude and other mountain perils make the Silver Way uniquely treacherous. Heavy snowfall makes the trail impassable from mid-autumn to late spring, but the trail is a challenge even in summer. Sudden torrential rains can cause flash flooding. The ancient Khuzan construction is not completely impervious to the ravages of weather and age. Khuzans are the dwarves. Every year, reconstruction is required for some sections. For most of the length, the trail is wide enough for 2 laden mules to walk side by side, but it is steep and twisting for long stretches, and a slip of 1 mule can easily cause the loss of 2 or more. Already, you guys should be feeling like this is going to take you forever to level up, and it fucking should. As if the physical dangers were not enough, the route traverses Brigand and Gargoon territory. The lower reaches of the Silver Way are haunted by bands of brigands who prey on small groups before they can join the great caravans that depart from the Nanoim Bridge. Close to Zirun, the former Khuzan mines of fauna are now home to an aggressive and dangerous colony of Garguvazal, orc spawn. The foul spawn attack caravans that appear weak or disorganized. Experienced travelers never travel the Silver Way alone. And this is the type of thing that I would shove my players onto for a level or 2. It details a horrible, horrible path that you have to take a wagon train of 24 or 48 donkeys up and around. and it takes you 8 to 10 weeks to traverse it. It details various places you will rest. It details various things that you will possibly encounter. And most importantly, it gives you enough ammunition to load up and aim those cannons at your players and push them into some very arduous work. Opening character levels should never feel like you're the DM for, I'm going to say Ricky Schroeder again, but the players should never feel like Ricky Schroeder, whose daddy has a big ass train set in his mansion, and you have all the things to do with your life. The opening levels of the game, you should keep your players poor, hungry most of the time, and on the edge of just insanity, because them trying to make it work should be an effort. It should be work almost for a game. And I know that sounds so difficult for many of you, but you don't want to make this game easy. You want to always infer the pain, the muscle soreness, the way their hips feel when they dismount. You want to make sure you impress upon your players that every fucking silver you earned is going to mean one more hour of sleep when this miserable trip is over. So I would say if I was going to pimp a product for this week, I would go with the Silver Way. It's only 7 pages. It's a few dollars. I'll find the link. I'll drop it in the chat. And you guys can go to drive-through and download the PDF. It is amazing. And if you want a low magic feel, Columbia Games has an entire continent to explore. They've got the right verbiage within all their products to make you feel like when you get done with a trip, you can't wait to take your boots off and stretch your toes for once in this last 12 or 14 hours. Or maybe it's been 3 days since you've taken your boots off.
Ouch. That sounds painful. But no, I do agree that keeping the early game low level, and keeping the player characters kind of poor, not necessarily destitute, but definitely make them feel like they have to earn their keep constantly. All in the hopes that they'll have their breakaway moment, and that breakaway moment is when you cross from the known world into the unknown. And again, that's part of the hero's journey, where the character goes, from riding the caravan every single day to, a breakaway moment of, hey, we just got attacked by a raiding party. We're gonna go track down that raiding party and raid them. That can be a breakaway moment. Or, the breakaway moment might be where their employer goes, hey, you've done some really good work for me. You've earned a lot of respect, a lot of, credit within my organization. I have a job for you. And that's a breakaway moment. That gets us from the known, the several grueling months of just, in the dirt and, everyday traveling, to now we're getting into the high-paced, high-stakes, high-rewards kind of scenario where we go into the unknown. So what is a good first into the unknown type adventure that you like to throw at your party, from going from boot camp or training and throwing them into the unknown worlds? Kai, you look like you want to start this one.
What? Unknown world stuff? There's always that point when you just go outside of there and find a lost temple full of ancient weird stuff that's just waiting out there for you. And you just don't realize it. That crystal, I want to, because there's always that player who goes, I touch it. You shouldn't touch it. I touch it. Have you not read any form of Lovecraft in your life? No. But I touch it. Everyone else, please don't touch it. I touch it. And suddenly they're like, gateway to the celestial heavens. I opened a dimensional gateway to some weird place. I unlocked a suddenly, you know, the chamber that's been holding an ancient evil opens up, and the horrible armored dragon, armored creature comes out there, looks at you, and thanks you for letting him out of the box. Some weird ninja appears out of nowhere and stabs the hell out of somebody because they got drunk in a bar one night. And is that point that just something fun happens, and it's just an interesting moment. And it's just, it is that point where you just go from, wait, we're just normal people to, yeah, a bunch of fairies just showed up. Like happy small fairies? No, the reality warping kind.
Oh God.
Wait, those exist? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they do. And they don't like you. Well, they like you, but not in that way. Oh, are we going to be in trouble? Yes. Or simply going, and we turn around the corner and there's a Stormtrooper Legion. Why is there a Stormtrooper Legion? I don't know. Why is there a Stormtrooper Legion? We're in trouble, aren't we? Yes. We should, I don't know. What do you do? And it's that point where they go from, I'm comfortable to, oh, is that a giant tarantula drider thing looking at me? Yes.
Oh fuck.
And
Double fuck.
and there's and then you see like 4 or 5 more glowing eyes. We should leave here really fast. Turn around, run. Or this is a nice looking, this is a really beautiful garden. I like this place. And it has this mage that's our best friend, and you step somewhere wrong, right? Yeah, I want to go look at all the plants. You can hear things under the ground moving. Wait, what do you mean hear things? They're crawling and tearing at at something under your feet. Oh, this is bad. We shouldn't be here. And it's that point that when the players realize we're not anywhere normal anymore. And that's that fun point when it's just great. It's
That's not nice.
Look, sometimes when players are like, oh, fairies are just simple and nice, or they're just weird, and then you go, no, this is more like the She from ancient legend, where they're going to kidnap your firstborn, replace them, or you're going to disappear for the next 20 years. Wait, what? You got invited to a party. You're going to show up in a century from now. That sucks for me. Yeah, it does. Make a new character. Enjoy. But like I said, it's always that point where it goes from the world that they know into we're in over our heads, aren't we? And you can keep hitting this periodically. It's like, oh, we're 1st to 3rd level. Now we're ready for adventure. Reality hits you. Oh, shit. Now we beat that arc. No, now things are going to go weirder now. Oh, wait, how much weirder can it get? This is a fantasy role-playing game. It can get really weird. Or we're playing this. It can get weird. But don't worry, kids. It's about to get a lot worse. Oh, and I love that moment. I love watching any point when the players realize that what they thought was the status quo just got upended. Because at that point, I have them hooked once more. When a player goes, I'm thinking about retirement, and then you suddenly go, but what about if there were spiders? And then the players go, how big are spiders? 8-foot tall spiders? Oh, I can't retire, can I? Well, you could, but there's a lot of spiders. I know. Deal with it. And now they're like going, shit, we're adventuring still. Yeah, because the game's not over yet. You haven't retired or died yet. We're going until you're dead. Or you retire. And then you go find a little island that I am going to hit with a tsunami at some point because I hate your beach house. Why? Why do you hate my beach house? You didn't build it in a good style. You hate my Swiss Family Robinson construction? Yeah, it's terrible. You should have built smarter.
I just need to write Kami House on the side of it.
You're right. You're right. I wouldn't wipe that place out. But as somebody
You would or you wouldn't?
would not, though.
Okay. We can still be friends.
Look, at that point, you're just periodically going to punch a player through a wall. So
And
Okay.
get frequent nosebleeds.
So, Connell, I know you run a lot of module play, but what is for you like the defining moment of where your players go from like the known world into the unknown? And by that, I don't necessarily mean like changing planes of existence. You know, it could be as simple as, you know, we're traveling down this road, you know, constantly, you know, being guards on the road, but now it's time to get into the adventure. So what is your favorite first into the unknown adventure that you like to pull?
I kind of have two answers for this.
Okay, go for it.
If I am doing modules and it's not my first time, my first go around with this particular module, but something I've ran 101 fucking times, I will change the goblins out for cannibal halflings. Or I'll just change up enough where there was a giant, you know, a giant this or a giant that, or how about a gray render comes walking out of the forest and just stops and look at you. What does the party do? And just do odd and weird things just because 10 to 1, I've already had one person at the table play this module if the module's been run long enough. So I'll just change it out wherever I can. Now, if I'm doing a homebrew, by third level, if you know, I was talking to a mutual acquaintance of ours, Jade, and he told me this idea he had where if I'm running a homebrew and it's like first third level and it's, you know, not module at all, he'll throw a deck of many things in because a deck of many things can create very much its own campaign.
Okay, yeah.
And where you end up having to go to the abyss to save somebody's soul, or something is chasing you for X amount of levels because you're just not strong enough to take it. Or, you know, go along with what Kai said, they stumble, you know, they're out venturing and they stumble and they fall through a hole. And there's a thing that says, beware thou travelers, or will release a great evil scenario.
Don't warn them. Never.
Well, you know.
Oh no!
And they accidentally let loose the trash, and it takes 20 levels to actually become strong enough to actually be able to defeat it. X amount of characters later.
That's fun. You know, give them warnings, but because no player takes any, you know, useful language, because all they ever speak is Elven, Draconic, and, you know, common party language, and the mage didn't bother to memorize comprehend language today. You know, you could have 100 warnings on the wall that says, don't go any further. Bad things going to happen. Ancient evil ahead.
Yeah.
Turn around. The party, I don't see shit. It's just ancient magic runes and shit. And then they walk over to it. And then, you know, the one party member, this is a bad idea. And then you have that one player, I touched the rock. Boom. And you're like,
I believe it was your campaign, Jade, where we had this was over at Twin Towers in Peoria, the old crew.
Oh yes,
and
I know the one you're talking of.
And we come into a hallway or a building that had multiple doors to different planes of existence, and we came across a trash, and we should have pushed that one player in that room and closed the door, had him make a new character.
Yeah, well, you know, you live and you learn.
Hindsight's 20/20.
You live and you learn. So yeah, I mean those are actually some pretty good things, pretty good options that you've said there. You know, especially the deck of many things. You can do so much with the deck to drive more adventures and more things going forward.
And as a DM, you could stack the deck as a DM, not the player, but as a DM,
I
you can
mean,
stack the deck.
typically, players don't listen to this. GMs, yes, you can stack the deck. It is a little unfair to your players, but if you're wanting a specific scenario to come, to naturally unfold, stacking the deck for in-game reasons can be okay, but you should still keep it kind of natural and kind of shuffled. That's my advice.
Well, every
Bruce,
player gets hold on. Doesn't every player gets to choose the way I do the deck of main things? Before you draw, you say how many cards you're going to draw.
yes, absolutely.
Then you take it from there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
What's going on?
that is how that works. So, Bruce, what is your first adventure, or the typical type of adventure into the unknown that you take players from the Silver Road into?
I will usually take the players on a multiple stop trip where they're guarding the caravan. Like this last campaign, like they were guarding the caravan for a good long time, and even we're going to go up into the middle levels until one of my players had a moment where he put it all together and he superimposed one of my NPCs with an irritating character from our job, and he killed all the irritating characters in our NPC quota. He killed all of them. He slaughtered them like Anakin and the younglings. So that totally derailed that campaign. I had all these mentally deficient, handicapped people guarding and tending to the donkeys while the players were protecting the donkey handlers, and that really went against my script. I really was upset. And then he quit play for a while. The players did other things, but they were aimless. The druid player was like, I hate the town we're from. So this was great. And why did Greg fuck us like this? And it was such a good like 2 or 3 sessions of angst. And then the players got an invasion on their hands and they were unaware. They saw signs of it before, but they kind of ignored it. Kind of like, hey boss, I see a submarine. Pay it no mind, son. We're here at Pearl Harbor. We worry about the airplanes. It's just one of those bad moments where a little bit of discussion could probably have saved a lot of lives and damage. But instead, they got invaded, and that's the campaign they're on now. That's the campaign thread where I have the 2-pronged army smashing them into bits, and they might make it out. I don't know. I will see what happens. I'm not running it like a typical campaign, because in a typical campaign, like after you get done with a mission or a job, you go back to town and you arm up and you loot, and you use your loot to buy other stuff or to craft things. And my players are going to experience what's called the XCOM complex, where you make a decision, but no matter what decision you make towards a non-combat encounter, it's going to have some penalties no matter what. You choose to help out the people in these 5 settlements by attacking the hobgoblins. Cool. While you were gone and performing surgical strikes on the hobgoblin intelligence, the giants came up from the south and they stampeded into these 2 hexes here. And there's no more settlements there. Also, you guys are cut off from any food source. Have fun. And so I will do things like that. I have it planned out. I'm not trying to fuck my players, but I'm trying to keep them on their toes, because I don't want them to think like, I'm going to sit for 45 days and craft. Oh, hell no. No. And so my current players are in the end of their beginning stages. They're around 6th level. And they are actually getting to the point where they could start seeing some hope, because right now they're not. They're seeing that not only is there a couple factions in this landmass where there shouldn't be, the Fae have arrived as well. And I don't think that's really a good sign.
I almost feel like I should be hearing this.
You're good, man. I guarantee you have 10 days to worry.
Oh, is that when the next campaign's going to be in 10 days?
Yeah, 2 Saturdays from now.
Woohoo!
So,
No! Yes! No, I'm so
I think
conflicted.
the great thing about transitioning from the known into the unknown is, once you're in the unknown for a little while as players or, as a game master, it starts to become known, starts to become commonplace for your
Yeah,
players. And
you don't want them to have the world be unknown, which is why
right.
I want them to be the for 10 or 12 or for 3 levels at least be on tour for like 2 or 5 years and get to know everybody or get to
Well,
know the route a little bit.
by unknown, I don't necessarily mean like they don't know the world around them. I mean, the unknown is the sudden change in day-to-day activities, the sudden shift from no longer just being a caravan guard to now being a soldier in an imperial army, or being a cavern delver or a spelunker. Suddenly your job has changed fundamentally. Not necessarily for the better either. But though that is what I mean by going into the unknown. It's not going from I'm just a cavern or a caravan guard every day.
We're
It's
guards. We're
yeah,
guards.
it's I was a caravan guard. Now I'm something more. That's the unknown.
Mhm.
No, I
And
took it out to
we
the
actually
knee.
we see this actually in as previous commenter said, in Star Wars. Luke Skywalker goes from the everyday life, the humdrum life of being
I'm
a
a
humidity
moisture
farmer,
farmer.
right? Moisture farmer. He goes from that to suddenly, something horrible happens and it throws him into the unknown. He's suddenly leaving his home planet and he doesn't know if he's ever going to go back. He's getting swept up in the galactic war between the Rebel Alliance and the Empire. It's completely unknown to him. He's not a soldier. He's not a pilot of any kind. So that's what I mean by going from known to unknown. It's like suddenly everything that you know in life changes, and it could be a subtle change, but it typically is a major change. And this is a plot element that a lot of books and movies use to get people really hooked into it. So, huh?
Bang shot, boom, boom.
um, so I think the greatest thing about the unknown is once it becomes known and becomes every day, because eventually Luke, he's a fighter pilot. That's what he's become. That's what he's doing every single day. Well, let's go into the unknown yet again. Now he's a Jedi. Now he's training to be a Jedi and training to be, this warrior priest or warrior monk. And then he eventually goes into the unknown again and becomes the master or the mentor. So you can do that in game as well and go from, the known into the unknown. Once the unknown becomes known, you do it again. As Kai said earlier, you just keep, recycling that unknown feeling for the players. So they keep transitioning from, oh, hey, our life, things have settled down. We're getting comfortable. Yeah, I'm going to hit you with a meteor right now, and we're going to see where that goes.
I think that if you guys are looking to shake up your campaign world, have an invasion.
Yes.
Have the land that the players grew up in. Have their old favorite stomping grounds get sacked. Have the lumber mill on the north side of town where the river's at. Have that become a base for like an ogre and a couple of very temperamental orcs, and have them kidnapping your childhood friends and taking them up there and totally destroying them before they cast aside their dead, mutilated corpses. Do that. And put guards along the pathways and checkpoints of the enemy. That way the players have to be resourceful and not try to stand out like sore thumbs. Make them be in a mindset to where they must be stealthy. They can't just go in barging, kicking down doors everywhere. Make it to where they have to do precision strikes. Let the rogue shine. And I know that probably just made Russ, wherever you are, Russ, I know you're smiling when I said that, but let the rogue have his moment there and take their familiar world and cast it in a miserable drab gray of battered stone and broken homes and fires and ash, and make it worth fighting for.
I agree with that sentiment. I actually, so when I do like the invasion plot lines or the invasion methods, I seed elements of that at the very beginning. You know, the players, as they're first starting up, they kind of get hints along the way that tension is brewing between their home country and another bordering nation. And you know what? As luck, fate, or not so great luck might have it, their town just happens to be somewhere near that border. So I do like the element of invading armies coming to take their homes away, because it gets the PCs, to take action to protect what they believe is theirs. Let's see here. Any sorry, mine just.
We're not talking about prostitutes or horror, but we can sure as shit promise you our chat will be talking about horror.
No kidding. No kidding.
God, and I was behaving. What the hell, people?
Most civilized panel in the world, the worst chat in the world. We've made them one. Thank you, chat. I love you guys. I really do.
Kai, you look like you want to expand upon something.
No, absolutely not. I mean, like I said, we already hit invasions. That's like the number one thing you can have fun doing, just because it gives you an easy to plot it out encounters, like endless, that you just need. I mean, y'all hit, for once, I don't need to say a damn thing. You hit the topic pretty well. I don't need to say shit.
Oh, okay. Well,
I've been hemming and hawing around with the idea of doing the invasion.
And yes, Baron GRock, yes. For once, I'm the one following after everybody else's good choices, and now I got nothing. Sorry.
You were saying there, Cigar GM?
Yeah, I've been thinking about doing an invasion one. It's just I don't know if I want to do like a modern fantasy, like modern world, and all of a sudden like a Shadowrun type theory. Not so much the not steampunk, but cyberpunk. But a crater in the world opens up and dwarfs and all of the things comes climbing out, or for a homebrew or what, or the veil finally rips, and that's been keeping the never and the human part way. I don't know. I think there's definitely a lot to be said about a good evasion story. It'll drag the players to the table every week.
You said story.
Oh, I did say story. Well, story. Dude,
I don't have enough. I don't have enough to drink. Come on now.
That's not my problem.
So we've talked about the the travel, the call to adventure, the mentor, leaving the known world for the unknown. Let's talk about, I guess, equipment like loot drops and such. Do you craft things for your players? For let's say they get to level 10. Do you like make personal items for them, or do they just find random stuff out of the MIC? By MIC, I mean Magic Item Compendium from 3.5, or the Ultimate Equipment Guide, or whatever. Like, do you actually craft it, or do you just roll random? Who wants to start?
I'll go.
Okay, go for it.
Here you go.
I'll craft items at an early low level to go, here's what I think you'll be interested in. But because of the fact that I think this is because the other GM is one of those stingy ass motherfuckers who decides to go, y'all have no fucking money, none of you are able to craft, none of you are able to do a goddamn thing unless I tell you that you're allowed to have it, and you'll have whatever shit I throw at you, be happy. I'm like, no. And then my players are all like, we have designated this person's our crafter, this person's our enchanter, this person's this guy. The party is pretty much just we'll craft it ourselves. And at that point, it's like, so here's like, and they will be like, no, we are customizing. We are custom building it. It's like, but I have this cool item that I spent hours thinking would be a really cool item for you. And the party goes, that's nice. Fuck that. No, this is this thing here. This, I don't know what it is, but it's cool. And it's customized for what I want. And because they've been abused by every other GM who's been like, I'm here to fuck you. You're going to be poor hobos trying to rub two copper pieces together so you can get an in thing. And you're going to get a long sword. I don't use long swords. Fuck you, long sword. Eat it. That's what you're going to fucking use and you're going to like it. But I use a long bow. Fuck you, short bow. And so therefore it's like, at a certain point, you're just like, the party just goes, all right, loot. And, when the party at the end of an adventure starts to resemble them throwing, mass piles of discarded war weapons into an orange pile and go, what do we do with all of these? And you're like, steamroller it. I don't give a shit. And then they just roll it over because you can't sell it all because the economy's going to collapse because you can't go out and like, I have a house made of long swords or long and short swords. Fuck it. Why? We have so many of them. Why? It's on the random loot tables. Fuck it. Whatever. And at this point, it's like, I don't try to customize because my players are just going to look at it funny and go, no, we have people who are blacksmiths and enchanters and we just build it ourselves. Well, that's not how it's supposed to be. Fuck it. Fuck it. Just, you want your downtime, customize your equipment, work on it. I'm going to make it hard. I'm going to make it hard on you, but deal. And at that point, they just go, and at that point, they're not so, oh God, please, I need like 45 more gold pieces as they're like some kind of like chintzy freaking weird ass money grubbing asshole. And you're just like some subhuman who only cares about cash because they need to upgrade this new, they need to sell 3 or 4 more swords so that way they can get a cool weapon upgrade and give me more money. Give more money, Gibbs. Oh man, GM, please give good stuffs. No, well, fuck that. And no, just let your play. Like I just let my players go. Look, there are crafting rules. You know how to use them. Use them. Because honestly, you're just going to make what you want anyway, or worse. If I don't let you make it, you're going to show up and be like at every major town. I want that item. I'm going to find that item and I'm going to hunt it down. I'm going to go from store to store and be like, give me. Where is it? I want this. I have the cash for it. Give me it. Well, there are no magic item shops, and I will find somebody who has it. And then I will offer them a fair deal. Well, they don't want to part with it. I'm sorry. All I heard was, I'm going to stab you tomorrow night.
God damn.
And you're like, but you're going to derail the campaign. He's not accepting my MSRP plus 25% value. So I'm going to pay 25% over market value price. Why are you not giving me this? Because he likes that item and he wants to. I'm going to kill him and then I'm going to take it. And this is how players do think. So yes. And when you are a chintzy slur of a word GM, you're going to encourage this shit. You might as well bypass the impending doom that is going to be your campaign derailing like an Amtrak train at 200 miles an hour and save your game. Let them craft an item. Let them buy something, because otherwise all they're going to be is hoping to God the random loot tables, or God, even worse, dear GM, my monk is a good monk, and I really need an upgrade to my punchy punch abilities. So could you please grant me in the next loot table drop a item that lets me punch better, because I'm falling behind the other characters because the fighter was really boring and he took long swords knowing that long swords will always drop at massive amounts because he's boring and the game is boring. And could you also give our swashbuckler a cool item, because he really needs an upgrade too? Please, GM, we've been good players. We haven't shanked anybody in the last 24 minutes. Please give me something.
Wow.
I need
No, sir, you do not. Good day.
You said minutes, not seconds.
I was believing him until he said minutes. I'm like, that's not true.
Yeah, that's not true. It's definitely seconds, not minutes.
At which point, player characters just go, and if you ain't doing that, we're going to go find it. And we're going to cause the chaos. And then the paladin player, please don't do that. Fuck you. We need shit. And that shit's over there. And we're going to get it. And suddenly the campaign derails. And everyone goes, well, that was a fun game. I guess we're going to go off on this. Just remember, your party is motivated by what they've got on their character sheet. And if you don't give them upgrades, they're going to find the upgrades one way or another. And if they start to resemble Kelly's Heroes and going, yeah, we're going to go out there and rob that bank. It's a war crime. We don't care. We're going. And suddenly they're off. And why? Because you were a chintzy fucking a chintzy evil GM who goes, my story's more important. My plot's more important. Your players go, your plot's fucking stupid. There's a bank vault full of 500 tons of gold over there. We're going after the gold bars. And you. But storyline, plot, war, invasion. No, we're going to go fight the tank and get the gold. Bye. And then your campaign's now on fire, and you've got no one to blame but your own chintzy fucking self.
I want to see you and Max argue that one. I really do.
Yeah, I'd love to see that myself. I was thinking, I wonder what Max has to say about all this, because I like to keep my players poor. I'm like, then you got Kai. It's like, you keep them poor, they'll stab you. But I'm the DM. I don't care.
I will stab. It's like, I have tried to keep them poor, and 9 out of 10 times, my players have always gone, we are going to steal Fort Knox. Why? Because if we do one big job, if your campaign goes from whatever you've got to Ocean's 11, because you have been a chintzy fucking spent like if your players and no is a good term, but the thing is that all you've done is no is you've put a obstacle in their way, and the party will go, why did you say no? Because no. Why can't we do this? Well, what if we do this to get around that? Another roadblock. And then they start figuring out how to, and now it becomes this Rube Goldberg machine as they're trying to figure out where the crack in the dam is, and they're going to find it. Like like fucking ferrets trying to crawl through your game, and they will find a way through. Little boneless tube rats that will find a way through, and then they're going to come bouncing through, scaring, and then they're going to grab everything valuable and hide it behind a TV. And
Who's Dan? No.
He's getting fucked off a bridge, I think.
I guess so. What the fuck did Dan do?
I would love to have, like, I have seen really good players who've been really sane, where if you just give them endless heartache at every turn, unless the campaign is screaming, this is going to be a heartache turn. But at that point, your players are going to be like, if we got to go fucking Swiss Family Robinson and build everything to survive, if we're playing Minecraft, the Dungeons and Dragons edition, because you've given us nothing and we got to scrape and build everything from scratch, they're going to build everything from scratch. But if you keep telling them you can't build, why not? We have crafting because crafting's broken and the designers give us no fucking rules. Okay, then we're going to figure out how to do it. They're going to take whatever obstacle you put in the way. So unless you facilitate the plot as being important, you give them tools to complete the plot. But if at any point they realize you've been a chintzy fucker and given them nothing, and they've been forced to sit there and scrabble, they're going to figure out how, like they're going to find, going, man, if we had some money. And if their solution is, then we should get some money. But if you go, well, there's no one to buy from, then money goes down. Now they're going to be like, well, we need resources. Resources are being guarded by someone else. We kill the thing guarding the resources. Whatever's in our way, we kill them. Why? We're playing a game where we're all trained murderers. Everybody's a walking war machine. Even the bard. Hi, he'll kill you with bad music. We don't have a toolbox that's got a lot. It isn't just kill them. Kill everyone. And so therefore you work really, really hard to mitigate murder, the murder moment, because at any point they're going to be like, I'm going to murder all of creation. And you can't stop me. I can stop you. You could. But then we'll all be dead and the game's over. I'll kill you. The game will be over. But do you really want that? Do we really want that? And now it's a little game where you're playing on the who wants to end things first. But we're all having fun. But mutually assured destruction is right there on the distance. And who wants to push the button first?
Well,
And I'm okay if the party pisses off the king and gets wiped out. That's great because they're now dead. And I'm okay with that moment. But most players are going, but I don't want to die. How close can I get to not getting 4 stars on playing Grand Theft Auto?
So I'm going to echo something from a previous stream. Actions have consequences.
Dear God, yes. And I love it because I'm willing to fuck with them and they're willing to fuck back. And it's going to be a complete and total game of who's going to flinch first, because they know I've got the bigger weapon. I'll beat them to death. And so it's a game to see who gets to go crazy first. And yeah.
So
I guess I could try to follow that. I don't know how, but I guess I could try.
yeah, go for it. So we're talking about giving the party loot, whether it be custom loot to fit the needs of advancing gameplay, or just random loot. Which do you do?
I have Max. Max is my how should I put this? My silver dragon that seems to have cousins all over the world, who owns magic shops. Because I believe in magic shops. I don't believe every small town in the world has one, but I believe every major metropolis has at least one. Your river, your water deeds, your pick whatever major metropolis city, has at least one magic shop, or maybe two. With me, Max is a silver dragon that's trying to feed into his horde by trading and working with the party so he can turn into a god, because if a dragon eats a horde over X amount of money, he becomes a god. At least how it was back in the day. I'm sure they changed it, but
There's other rules involved in that, but yeah, I see where you're going with that.
So that's Max's story point. Max is trying to, get his horde big enough, and that's how I use them. So, but I believe I do high fantasy and high money. And I don't do custom weapons because I don't know. Let's say I have Bruce, Kai, you, and the Baron at the table. You know what your characters need better than I do. Me looking at your character sheet, I'm like, he looks like you could use a new bow, but really you need a +2 returning shadow touch, whatever dagger for whatever fucking reason. I don't know what you need. You know what you need more than I know. So if you could either go one or two ways in mind. Well, do we get any downtime? Yeah, we got probably about a month's worth downtime. I want to create something. That's awesome. Or hey, can I put in a special order? Is there somewhere around here? Can Max make a special make special items? I'm like, yeah, Max can do that. Then you pay Max a certain amount and X amount of weeks, days, months, however long it takes via the rules. It's done. You seem like you have a problem with that, Jade.
Moreover, I think I know where you got that dragon from.
Oh yeah, I stole it from you. I won't lie.
Yeah.
I stole it from you.
Because the name Max, and I'm like, wait, I have a red dragon named Mac, who has a teleport or a room that as long as you have the key, you can get into from anywhere in the world.
No,
I was wondering.
Key. There's not key. It's Max and his 7,000 cousins. Max, Shane, ... every freaking Irish name I could think of.
Okay.
But that's just my way of keeping the party able to get the equipment that they need, because fucking Kai is right. Kai is absolutely right. You want to keep the party able to move the story along further. And if you, I don't use the term he will, because I am half Romanian. So,
okay, Chintzy is Chinese, not Romanian. So
I've heard it used on both people. But that's just my thing. That's my thing. It's not a big deal.
Okay.
I cannot believe that he thinks China is people.
Anyways, I think it's important because loot drops can be. We go into a dungeon that's full of goblins. What do goblins have? They have things that smell like shit. You're not going to get anything useful out of there. They have armor that smells like shit. They have weapons in there, depends on if you're playing Pathfinder, that you're not going to use. Why? Because it's unwieldy, it's a piece of shit, and oh, wait, it smells like shit. Or you got your owlbear nest. You've got a couple eggs and some shiny shit. Fuck, that doesn't help me, and except for the shiny shit.
Well, so that actually speaks of keeping the players poor at beginning levels. That is a good way of keeping them, always scraping by until they get into the unknown. So if you want to keep your players' characters, low money and poor, you run them against goblins, hobgoblins, maybe an orc or an ogre or something that don't have a lot of loot or anything. And that's a good strategy, for that aspect of it. But once they cross into the unknown and start getting into the upper levels, I'm talking like levels 7 through 15. That's where, they are going to start getting or seeing more loot drops, more powerful items, like mid-tier magic items.
Yeah.
And that's where, I'm going to ask Bruce your opinions. Do you custom craft magic items, or do you roll loot tables for mid-tier?
Craft their own stuff. If I need to have a special item or a special weapon in there, I've got the entire shelf, the library, the interwebs to research, and I can figure out what special weapon this or special item, what specific new magic item does this campaign need, and I will insert it at an appropriate point. Typically, the players usually will have their awakening or their moment where they go from being adolescents or Padawans to now they are the master, and they will have that moment where they realize the key to unlocking their greater destiny, where they have to make weapons with a specific type of magic blessing upon them. Like, I'm going to go back to Connell's favorite campaign. In Rise of the Rune Lords, about the time they're level 12 or 13, they discover the Rune Well. And in the Rune Well, there is a special recipe for a magical enhancement that lets you take your magic weapons in Pathfinder First Edition from a +5 to a +7. And it's called Rune Forged. And these weapons can now negate all damage reduction from the Rune Lords. And your party has all of them. You make them. And then you're pointed in the direction for where you need to go next, because this is in Shalast City where he is at, and I refer to the Archwizard at the very end of the campaign. It's the most classic campaign. If you've not played Rise of the Rune Lords, find a good DM to let them have you go through it. It's not a sandbox. Don't feel it is. It's not. It is a railroad. But it's a good railroad because it has all the narrative beats you need in order to relive your childhood, because you have various moments that are in the campaign where you feel like you're doing something like, oh, when I was 12, I had the magenta box and we did this. And there's about 12 of those or 15 of those in the entire campaign. But it is written, the Rise of the Rune Lords is written to where you're supposed to have this maturing moment between book 5 and 6, where you're going from the Rune Forge up to Zen Shalast. And it's where you realize this is it. There's no turning back. If we don't stop Karzog now, the world is over. And if the players have any sense of history, there's an even worse character to be unlocked and have him sent rampaging into the world. But they don't have a lot of that in the book. They hint at it, but they don't really give you much more than those hints. And that would be Mar, the face, that's the face of the mountain. And they statted that thing up later on, and it is a beast of a creature, because you're fighting a giant volcano with a personality and magic powers. Have fun. But it's a very rough time, and I don't recommend people play that. I recommend you play the standard Rise of the Rune Lords, go up the path and kill Karzog, because once you realize you have all this power, you're supposed to be going through this mental acuity or mental awakening to where you can understand the trials you had before, and you are about to have your greatest life's effort put to the test. And you're going to fight Karzog. And this is a level 23 wizard and a magician. I don't know what 5th edition has him stand out to, but I'm just going to tell you, back in the day, he was a level CR 27 because of all the magic items he had and everything else. So you're going to be there for quite a while. Once you accept your destiny, once you accept fate. And you might die. We had 4 people that died out of 8 in our campaign. I like that. Apparently in the chat we've got some fun going on. Does the enhancement come in form of a little blue pill? I'm sure they will make the Black Sheep Squadron or the Defenders of Malta feel tame. Don't have Bruce run. He will kill you on a damn mountain. Yes.
Who said that, Garrett?
Did
Yeah.
somebody? Yeah, Garrett said that. Did somebody have a bad experience with the dragon? More than
Oh,
a few.
Longtooth?
And show
Yeah.
us on the doll where the dragon touched you. And
Yeah.
Baron is just looking all sorts of irritated right now.
I
Okay.
know that encounter.
Yeah.
You know, to be honest, if this current group I'm in with right now actually makes it that far, that will be the first time I've ran the campaign from beginning to end. Because every time I've tried to run it, life happens.
Well, that's what you expect.
The
We all want to run a game to its completion. We don't expect to.
Yeah.
Okay, if you get a chance to run your players when they're 20th and 30th level, you are not an elite DM, but fate has favored you and your players to be able to play so long to where you actually are able to gather together from levels 1 to 20 or 30, wherever your campaign ends. And you can actually have that time that you spent at the table that later on you look at your friends and be like, man, that really meant something. We really enjoyed ourselves. We got to hang out for 2 years every Monday or Tuesday or Saturday night, whatever it may be. Because that's really what this is all about. As much as I want to talk to you guys about game theory and all that, really what I want to do is I want to run a game. And I'm sure the other three in the panel want to do the same. I can make time on Thursday to do this. Why can't I get 5 miserable sons of bitches to sit at my goddamn table? You know, and I imagine I'm not the only person that thinks that. And you guys in the chat, I'm willing to bet, man, we're always here.
My job I just changed jobs, so I gotta dump the game. I'm sorry, but you were the key person for the game. I know, but paycheck. Bye.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
just got married, and my wife is one that thinks that we should spend more time with each other than we already do. I know she's crazy, but she controls the bank account.
I
And I
mean,
don't want you guys to lose your livelihoods. As much
Also-
as I want to run a table, I want you guys to be able to function.
Right. It's like also our game night on Sundays has become family night, so I can't make it because of that. We understand.
But I thought you said you hate your family. I do.
but it's game night. We play board games, and I make them miserable until they let me come back to role play.
I mean, we all
it's not
we all-
untrue, you know.
we've all been there as GMs and players, where we've had tables that kind of fell apart, so to say, because life happens, and the game is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be about fun, not necessarily commitment. I want committed players, yes, but I don't want to lock them in so tightly into a game that they feel obligated to come. That being said, even if life changes for certain players or game masters, you can still attempt like a month in advance to plan a game. Say, hey guys, what are we doing on this date in April? And you all get together and have rehash and have a great time and get everybody back at the table to reconnect once a month, or once every other month.
Boy.
But it takes dedicated game masters to do that. Not necessarily
And-
dedicated players, but dedicated players do help.
And it helps if the players and the GM have that contract where they understand, listen, I want to commit to this for a couple years. And if you guys are blessed enough to where you don't have a job or vocational change, or you don't have a problem with your married life saying, okay, I will be here. You go play your game with your friends. I'm going to do my crafting or my bridge or whatever it is, my hobby. Respect that person, by the way, because she's giving you that time or he's giving you that time to play the game. But whenever it's time for them to have their hobby time, you let them have that. Unless their hobby time is like getting a train ran on them. Then you failed as a man and your name is Jack Murphy. Okay, sorry. And Legion
No,
says, Ike got a player who misses 3 sessions in a year. God, I fucking love that guy. He sounds, when he's in the chat, I can only hear Arlie Ermy. You owe me Ball, you do not miss the 3 games of our fucking campaign. Do you understand how important this is? I measured the CR. I knew the DPR that would happen every round of the party. You do not miss my game. Ah!
I mean, Legion, I used to be that way actually. I used to, say, okay, well, if a player doesn't, make it to, 3 consecutive sessions, they're done, and I rotate the next player in. I used to be a lot like that. But I myself have learned through my life, that not everything goes to plan. I used to game 4 or 5 games a week. And that was, I learned that was excessive for me anyway. I don't know about other players, but definitely for me, excessive. So I had to, make sacrifices, or I had to cut some of those games out. And, the GMs were a little upset or butthurt about it because, they had this main thing, or this, huge game or campaign element built around me. I'm like, look, I got to take time for me. I got to, be doing what's good for me. So you'll have players like that. You'll also have game masters like that where, hey, my life just went to hell in a handbasket. I need time. And, that I think is, Bruce touched on, that's part of the social contract of, okay, life happens, life changes things, because life is unexpected. There are elements and things that happen in our lives that we can't predict happening. Like, I could get into a car accident tomorrow, and then I have to suddenly say, hey guys, I'm not going to be on LiveBreaker stream or TableBreaker stream next week because I'm in the hospital. Things like that happen. And making the what's the word I want to use here? I like using the correct words. Huh? Yeah, time allowances, compromises is a good word there. With players and GMs to reschedule a time. If nobody has time available for this week, maybe we meet next week or 2 weeks out. Things like that. Play from the hospital bed. Yeah. I mean,
They don't like that.
They really don't like.
They really don't like that.
They really don't like that. Anyway, sorry, tangent, divergent.
It's good.
Good. I wanted to throw something into that really quick though. Sure. On Monday nights, every Monday it's 1 of 3 people's games. Mine, Finn's, or another player's that I'm. And if one of the DMs can't make it, it's like, hey, I'm working or I'm going to be late. I just can't make this Monday work for me. One of the other 2 DMs is like, that's cool. I will do a double hitter this month. I'll run 2 weeks in a row, or I'll take your session. And that's just having the benefit of the social contract saying we understand life is life. And we can pick up the slack. I'm not expecting every DM out there to have, a backup DM just in case shit happens. But if you're with a good group of people that actually play, I've noticed as I've gotten further along in leveling up as a DM, I tend to only play with other DMs more than new players. I don't know if that's a me thing or if that's a common thing.
I think you want to play with hobbyists. I think you want to play with people that understand the commitment for the game, and just running around with a bunch of, no offense to 5th edition fans, 5th edition D&D, if you advertise it, they will come. They will occupy your table. It's up to you as a DM to break them of bad habits that Tumblr will try to give them. Stop that. Don't let them have those. Break them of those habits. Teach them the right way. Teach them TPKs are a normal thing. All right.
Oh, yeah.
What you want to do is, if you're playing with a lot of DMs, make sure you take a lot of notes, because that's only going to improve your game even better. That really is. Genre Film says, my social contract states if a DM can't show up for a game session, he has to be killed. That way DMs never miss a game, obviously.
I like this plan. Please kill me.
Tired of GMing already, I see.
He's only been doing it straight for 10 years.
I know, right?
God,
Damn.
the nerve of the guy.
I mean, I'm thankful for my Tuesday nights because it's not D&D. It's not an RPG whatsoever. It's a gaming system. Starfleet or Babylon 5. I know a few people in the channel are going to be happy to hear this. I am about ready to learn how to play Robotech on Tuesday nights.
Okay.
It's just, there's more to life than D&D and Pathfinder and RPG. There's other types of games out there. So if you hit the burnout, try something else. Don't give up on the hobby. Just try to pivot to some other system or some other game. Because if you stop showing at somebody's table, your friends will start to miss you after a while.
Warhammer 40K. The thing says, I hate you. You get your stress out by just pushing miniatures and killing everybody. It's nice. Or Drop Fleet Commander or the 100 other games. Yes.
I mean, yeah. Which Robotech? I have absolutely no idea. I'll find out Tuesday. There, Max, and I'll let you know. I know you're excited. Yay! Cigar DM is going to stop talking about 5e and start playing real games like Robotech.
Did you actually find a table where people actually were able to assemble all 400 pieces to one miniature to be able to play Robotech? Which is cool. I like that.
And you don't necessarily have to play tabletop RPGs or even the miniatures battle games. If you and your group of friends are into it, you can play board games. Like, this is one of my favorites. This one actually plays really well into tabletop RPGs because this can give me so many great ideas for characters. It's called Call to Adventure. There are other games like this that you can also pick up and play if you're into that kind of hobby. That can help you revitalize your willingness to jump back into the hobby. I just lost my train of thought. It left the station without me. Oh, damn. Anyway.
Strippers?
Yeah, I really just lost my entire train of thought there.
That does it. I blame the strippers. No, actually, you have one of my favorite board games there, Jade.
Oh, yeah? What's that one?
Secret Hitler.
Oh, yeah. Good social deduction game. Better if you can play with the maximum number of players. But you can also play larger games like Werewolf. And those games, those can actually help people learn how to role play. Not everyone's going to be into the role play aspect of it, but those games can assist in teaching one how to role play without a die, because it's a murder mystery game at that point, and everyone's trying to figure out who the secret killer is, or in the case of Secret Hitler, the secret Hitler.
I've known that guy for 17 years. Don't trust him.
I've known that man for 17 years. Don't trust a word coming out of his mouth. Yes. Twilight Imperium. Yeah, sure. If you have a lot of, I'm going to say it again, a lot of time, sure.
This is kind of breaking away from our main topic, as I'm
We're near the end of the night too, so.
Yeah, we are at the end of the night. We're at 1 hour 58 minutes and counting.
Yeah, 20 more minutes of nonsense, and I guess between the bunny rants and strippers, train of thought kind of does get lost.
I do gotta say that I would love to play Twilight Imperium. I have a sealed box of 4th edition on my stack of stuff in the front room with the deluxe rulebook hardcover. Kai, stop salivating. One of these days I'm going to open it up and actually get the pieces apart off the sprues and figure out when we're going to play.
Wait, online, or are you going to invent a teleporter from Star Trek and kill us and top us there?
If you can wait till next April when I get more vacation days that aren't pre-spent for moving, I would come down for a week to play.
We will need the whole week.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a whole week to give anybody.
You will find
Like,
a week.
I don't know. I don't know if there still are, but I know there were groups that would go to like Gen Con and they would play the entire 4 days, nothing but Starlight or sorry,
Twilight Imperium.
yeah, Twilight Imperium. And they would be at it for literal hours, taking minimal sleep. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, no, that's not true. That's not true. I could, if I decide not to go to Pennsylvania one year, I could head down to Texas.
Where are you going? Why are you going to Pennsylvania?
Penzic?
It's close to at the same site, but not not SCA. Daggy here has a week long. Daggy here's Super Bowl is Ragnarok. It is 1 week in June, starting Father's Day and ending like a week later that I go to, and I get to go camping. I love camping. I don't get to do it. I don't get to do normal camping anymore, just because I don't have that many friends around here that likes normal camping. But Dag here camping is a good close second.
See, I'm not a big fan of camping. I feel it's like a homeless simulator, and I try to not do that.
You know, I've been homeless. I've been homeless there, Bruce, twice in my life. And no, camping is not a homeless simulator. Homeless is homeless. Camping is getting away from everything else.
Okay, I'll remember that. We probably should be wrapping up because I know Kai is going to be falling into pumpkin status here pretty shortly. For those of the chat that have been here since the start, I want to say I thank you very much from the bottom of my blackened evil heart. For those of you that will watch this on the restream and all the way from start to finish, I appreciate you very much. If you feel so inclined, if you like our content, please give a like, share, and subscribe. If you like coffee, I'll put a link for Blackout Coffee into the chat. And if you really like Blackout Coffee, talk to me about it because I know how to help you. So, with that being stated, Connell DM has started his YouTube channel, and he has his first video, his introduction, which I'm proud of. And
I will have another one hopefully coming out this Sunday about new DMs finding their voices, how to be able to be a DM and to be able to speak with other people.
Okay. I am planning on putting out content. I am still working on the channel art at this point, the branding. I'm not a digital artist, so bear with me. It takes me a little bit of time to get that moving. But it is something I'm working on. I've already got the first 3 episodes kind of detailed out on what I want to say. I just need to sit down and record them. I need to get some recording software and do that. Oh, channel name is going to be Jade's Tabletop Tavern.
sweet.
Ooh, see, I still need a name. I was thinking about using the Cigar DM's Habitash, but somebody told me that's the place they make hats. I'm like, well, fuck.
So
Don't look at me. I won't have time to make anything for about 1 more month, maybe longer. Trying very hard, but life.
Understandable. Shadow and Sun, I appreciate that. We're gonna need to figure out a way to have a get together between us and Biggest Geekus. I think we're gonna probably try to organize that. We'll surprise Max one of these nights on a Friday night chill stream and try to get together because I think that'd be a good gathering point. For those of you that don't know about Legion of Myth, let me tell you about Legion of Myth. Imagine a politically neutral gaming commentary channel that does odd reviews of games that are not obscure but not in the mainstream vernacular. They will take weeks, hours to discuss a RP product. They will overanalyze it. They will discuss the verbiage used within it. There are also a couple of cool guys that they have frequent game streams, and they have a Friday night chill stream I recommend everybody pop into and discuss things. But most importantly, Legion of Myth supports a lot of individuals that have come back from active duty or from other situations, and he contributes quite a bit of the money to the Wounded Warrior Project. So, with that being said, I'll put the Legion of Myth link in here. And my name is Bruce Lombardo. If the Table Breakers have nothing else to say, everybody, thank you so much for showing up. We will see you again, same bat time, same bat channel next week. Thank you so much.